Hello everyone. In this particular video, I'm going to cover the revision of chapter number 2, that is residential status and scope of total income. So there are two parts in chapter number 2. Part 1 is residential status and part 2 is scope of total income. First, we will start with part number 1, that is residential status. So we'll see the residential status of various assessees. So first, we will start with the residential status of an individual. So, to determine the residential status of an individual, there are two things. One is basic condition, second is additional condition. In case of basic condition, if you satisfy any one basic condition, then you will be called as a resident person. You will be called as a resident person for taxation purpose. Any one basic condition. But if you do not satisfy any basic condition, then you will be called as a non-resident person. Now, sir, what are these basic conditions and how many basic conditions are there? So there are two basic conditions. Basic condition number 1, in the previous year, I'm staying in India for equal to or more than 182 days. In the previous year, I'm staying in India for 182 days or more. Or, this is the first basic condition, or in the previous year, I'm staying in India for 60 days or more. In the previous year, I'm staying in India for 60 days or more and 365 days or more during 4 years preceding the previous year. So basically, in basic condition number 2, there are two sub-conditions. One, in the previous year, 60 days or more, and 4 years preceding the previous year, which means this year is the 5th year. So 4 साल पहले, I should be staying in India for equal to or more than 365 days. So basically, if you satisfy any one of the basic conditions, you will be called as a resident person. But otherwise, if you do not satisfy any basic condition, then you will be called as a non-resident person. Perfect. But in certain cases, in certain exceptions, the second basic condition will not be applicable. In certain cases and in certain exceptions, the second basic condition will not be applicable. तो सर ये कौन से cases है? तो case number 1, there are 3 cases in all, जिसमें second basic condition is not applicable at all. Only first basic condition is applicable. So first category है, you are an Indian citizen, you are leaving India for employment. You are an Indian citizen, you are leaving India for employment. In that case, you are category 1 and you are falling under that exception. For that, you are not required to fulfill the second basic condition, which means only you'll have to check the first basic condition of 182 days. This is your category 1. Your second category is you are an Indian citizen who is leaving India for as a member of crew of Indian ship का crew member. You are a crew member of Indian ship and you are an Indian citizen and you are leaving India. In that case, you will fall under the second category of information, wherein the second basic condition is not at all applicable. You'll have to check only one basic condition of 182 days. The third category is if you are a foreign citizen, which means if you are a foreign citizen and if you are a person of Indian origin. You are a foreign citizen, you are a person of Indian origin, you are coming to India for visit. So sir, what is the meaning of person of Indian origin? Person of Indian origin मतलब मैं खुद individual, my grandparents were born in undivided India. And such person, you're a foreign citizen, you are a person of Indian origin who is coming to India for visit and not for professional reasons. Please understand this. Not for professional reasons, only for visit. And then in that case, you will fall under the third category. There is one more thing here. Here we have said a foreign citizen. It is also applicable to Indian citizen. So the third category is if you are an Indian citizen, or if you're not an Indian citizen, you're a foreign citizen, but you are a person of Indian origin who is coming to India for visit, then in that case, you'll fall under the third category of persons, wherein you are not required to fulfill the second basic condition. But recently, Government came up with an amendment with this part of the category. Government came up with an amendment with this part of the category, third part, and they said कि रुको, थर्ड पार्ट के लिए सेकंड बेसिक कंडीशन अप्लाई हो सकता है विद सम अमेंडमेंट्स. कभी होगा ऐसे? You are falling under the third category. Yes, you are an Indian citizen or you are a foreign citizen, but who is of person of Indian origin coming to India for visit. Then we will first check तेरा total income कितना है. What is your total income, which is excluding the income of foreign source. That is foreign source income छोड़ के, that is Indian income तेरा कितना है वो देखेंगे. We'll check whether the total income is more than 15 lakhs, more than 15 lakhs. If yes, your income is more than 15 lakhs, then your second basic condition will be applicable. But second basic condition क्या था? 60 in the previous year and 365 in four preceding previous years. वो जो 60 था ना, 60 वो replace होके 120 हो जाएगा. बाकी all the conditions will remain the same. बाकी all the conditions will remain the same. I will repeat, if you are falling under the third category, you will first check the income of such person. Whether total income, excluding foreign sourced income, is more than 15 lakhs or no. तो आपको समझा it is more than 15 lakhs. If it is more than 15 lakhs, then you will see you will also see the second basic condition but with some alteration. जो 60 days है वो 60 days की जगह पे 120 days replace होगा, बाकी everything will remain the same. And if you are fulfilling the 120 days का condition, you will be considered as resident, और वो resident सीधा RNOR बन जाएगा. RNOR, that is resident but not ordinarily resident. Perfect. Okay. Now I will repeat the entire thing in 1 minute. If you are falling under the exceptions, second basic condition is not applicable. But 3 categories. Category number 1, you are an Indian citizen who is leaving India for 2 purposes. First is for an employment. Second, as a member of crew of Indian ship. 2 categories होगा. Third category में you are an Indian citizen or you are a person of Indian origin who is coming to India for visit. Then in that case, second basic condition is not applicable. But after the amendment, they said कि रुको, you first check the total income of that person. Whether total income is more than 15 lakhs, yes. Then the second basic condition will be revived with some alteration. So second basic condition क्या था? 60 days in the previous year, 365 days in 4 years preceding the previous year. So the 60 days here, that will be replaced with 120 days. And if you satisfy this, then you will become resident. But which resident? Directly resident, but not ordinarily resident. I hope you got the entire thing. So again, I will go up and check कि हम लोग का बाकी क्या है. Basic condition का entire part is done. Then we will move on with the additional condition. When do we come to additional condition? When do we come to additional condition? In the basic condition, if the answer is resident. If you are a resident, then only I will come to additional condition. If you are a non-resident, no further checks are required. But if you are a resident, further checks are required whether you are ROR, that is ordinary resident, or you are RNOR, that is not ordinary resident. To check that whether you are ROR or RNOR, we'll have to check the additional condition. Now, if you satisfy 0 additional conditions, if you do not satisfy any additional condition, then you will be called as ROR. And if you satisfy any one additional condition, you will be called as RNOR. Now we will see what are the additional conditions which are mentioned. Stay of 729 days or less in India during 7 previous years preceding the previous year. मतलब this is the 8th year. This is the 8th year और पीछे के 7 साल में I should be staying in India for 729 days or less. This is your first additional condition. Second additional condition is you should be a non-resident for 9 out of 10 preceding previous years. For 9 out of 10 preceding previous years. मतलब this is the 11th year. ये साल छोड़ के पीछे के 10 साल में I should be a non-resident for 9 out of 10 previous years. which means for 9 out of 10 previous years, I should not be fulfilling any of the basic conditions. Then only I will be called as non-resident, and I should follow that status for 9 out of 10 years. Then I will be called as fulfilling the second additional condition. First क्या था? Stay of 729 days or less in the 7 years preceding the previous year, or non-resident. You are non-resident for 9 out of 10 previous years immediately preceding the previous year. In that case, you will be called as R and OR if you satisfy any one. इफ यू सेटिस्फाई नन देन आर ओ आर लगेगा. बट इस ये साल से अमेंडमेंट है कि ये दो जो एडिशनल कंडीशन है उसके साथ उन्होंने और दो एडिशनल कंडीशन दिए. फर्स्ट एडिशनल कंडीशन, इफ यू रिमेंबर, हम लोग ने अभी 2 मिनट पहले किया कि एक्सेप्शन में इफ यू आर फॉलोइंग अंडर कैटेगरी नंबर 3, कैटेगरी नंबर 3 में आपका टोटल इनकम देखेंगे वेदर यू हैव टोटल इनकम ऑफ मोर देन 15 lakhs और नो. अगर 15 lakhs के ऊपर है देन हम लोग देखेंगे कि बाबा आपका टोटल पीरियड ऑफ स्टे इज 120 डेज के ऊपर जा रहा है कि नहीं. बिकॉज हम लोगों ने देखा था कि इधर पीरियड सेकंड बेसिक कंडीशन विल रिवाइव 120 days वाला. इफ यू सेटिस्फाई दैट कंडीशन यू विल बिकम अ रेसिडेंट. बट विच रेसिडेंट? सीधा डायरेक्टली RNOR, डायरेक्टली RNOR. ये था थर्ड पॉइंट. And fourth point is you will be called as deemed resident. You are called as deemed resident under 6(1)(a). You will be called as deemed resident as per section 6(1)(a). In that case, you will directly become a RNOR. So, sir, what is the meaning of deemed resident? Deemed resident के लिए we had discussed about high net worth individuals. ये tax planning करते थे. हाई नेटवर्थ इंडिविजुअल जो टैक्स प्लानिंग करते थे उन्होंने उनके लिए ये डीम्ड रेसिडेंट का कंसेप्ट लाया और उन्होंने बोला कि देयर आर 3 कंडीशंस. एक, यू आर एन इंडियन सिटीजन. हैव दे मेंशन्ड एनीथिंग अबाउट पर्सन ऑफ इंडियन ओरिजिन? नो, यू आर एन इंडियन सिटीजन. हैविंग टोटल इनकम अदर देन फॉरेन सोर्स इनकम. फर्स्ट इंडियन सिटीजन है, then your total income other than foreign source income is exceeding 15 lakh rupees. This is your second point. Indian citizen, total income is more than 15 lakh rupees, and you do not pay any tax in any other countries. Not liable to pay tax in any other country or territory by the reason of his domicile or residence. So 3 conditions we'll have to satisfy. One is you are an Indian citizen. Your total income excluding foreign sourced income is more than 15 lakhs, and you do not pay tax in any of the countries. If you satisfy these conditions, then you will be called as a resident, which means as per the definition you are not a resident, but the income tax department will treat you like a resident. But which resident, sir? You will be considered as RNOR directly. You will be considered as RNOR directly. Perfect. Great. Then one more point which we will have to discuss. Rule number 126 of income tax rules, wherein they have mentioned there is very much inconvenience in determining the total number of days of stay in India in case of a member of crew of Indian ship. हम लोगों ने ये देखा था पॉइंट नंबर 2 में, member of crew of Indian ship. इसका total number of days निकालने के लिए there is a lot of inconvenience. So that's why they came up with this rule 126, and they say, you know, the entry date in the ship of that person as per the continuous discharge certificate. Take the entry day, take the exit day, take the entry day, take the exit day. ये जो period of days है, you will exclude those period of days from 365 days. You will exclude those period of days from 365 days. Perfect. So total number of days in the previous year, for example, it is 365. You are staying in India. Entry day है 1st of Jan. Exit day is 31st of Jan. So can I say 31 days he was out of India? Yes, then 31 days he was out of India. So Jan May he came back on 31st of Jan, and again from 3rd February he went to US for 5 days. So again for 5 days he is not in India, and again I will reduce 5 days. So my total number of days will be 365 minus 31 minus 5. So वो मुझे क्या मिलेगा? Number of days of stay in India. It can be 365 or 366 as the case may be. जो leap year है, you'll have to consider that also. So don't make mistakes in that particular thing. If it is a leap year, it will be 366 days. I hope I'm clear with all the provisions of a residential status of an individual Then we will move on with the residential status of HUF. In residential status of HUF, you will have to see the management and control. Whether the management and control is wholly or partly located in India. If answer is yes, then you are a resident. If it is wholly outside India, मतलब 1% भी इंडिया में नहीं है, then you are a non-resident. Wholly or partly in India है तो resident. Wholly outside India मतलब इंडिया का तो कुछ भी संबंध नहीं है. In that case, you are a non-resident. But they said HUF के लिए resident non-resident is not sufficient. Resident के लिए further bifurcation is required whether you are ROR और RNR. तो वो HUF के लिए कैसे समझेगा? तो उन्होंने बोला we'll have to see the residential status of Karta. Whether Karta is ROR, then HUF is also ROR. Whether Karta is RNOR, then HUF will also be RNOR. Perfect. It will dependent upon the management and control of HUF. Then I will move on with the next concept of residential status of company. The residential status of company will be dependent upon the place of effective management. Residential status of a company will be dependent upon place of effective management. We will see that now. Company can be of two types. One is foreign company, second is Indian company. Indian company and foreign company. In case of Indian company, place of effective management India में है या India में नहीं है does not matter. Indian company is going to be resident. Place of effective management will not matter. Where is the effective management? Management किधर से हो रहा है? That is the meaning of place of effective management. डिसीजंस किधर से जा रहा है, मैनेजमेंट किधर से कंट्रोल हो रहा है, तो वो सब कुछ प्लेस ऑफ इफेक्टिव मैनेजमेंट की डेफिनेशन में कवर होता है. सो इंडियन कंपनी, एज फार एज इंडियन कंपनी इज कंसर्न्ड, place of effective management is of no relevance. Indian company is going to be resident in India. If Poem is in India, then Indian company is resident. Even though Poem is wholly outside India, it is called Poem, place of effective management. If the Poem is wholly outside India, it will still be considered as resident. So Indian company के लिए there is no brainer. Poem India में है नहीं है does not matter. Resident company हो जाएगा. But in case of foreign company, we'll have to see the Poem. If the Poem is in India, then resident. Poem is outside India, you are a non-resident. I hope everything is crystal clear. Now, in case of residential status of firm, AOP and BOI, it is very much similar to HUF. What is that? If the management and control is wholly or partly in India, then you are a resident. If the management and control is wholly outside India, India का कुछ भी संबंध नहीं, in that case you are a non-resident. But here further bifurcation of resident is not required. Only resident, non-resident is sufficient. So this was all about your residential status of various assessees. Now we will start with part B, that is scope of total income. In scope of total income, I can say that income can be divided into two parts. One is Indian income and second is foreign income. Indian income and foreign income. Now, in case of Indian income, sir, when do you call this is an Indian income? What is the meaning of Indian income? So, Indian income means if it is accrued in India, or it is received in India. Accrued in India, received outside India होगा तो accrued मतलब क्या? जनरेट इंडिया में हुआ इनकम हो. Accrued in India पर received outside India हुआ तो चलेगा, because it is accrued in India तो इंडियन इनकम हो जाएगा. तो सर दूसरे केस में if it is accrued outside India पर received in India होगा तो, पर accrued outside India हुआ है receive, तो गवर्नमेंट विल से रिसीव हुआ ना इंडिया में, you will have to pay tax because it is an Indian income. तो accrued में भी there are two further bifurcations. One is actual accrual, मतलब accrue हुआ है as per the definition, or there can be a deemed accrual, मतलब deemed to be accrued. Deemed to be accrued मतलब it is actually not accrued, but for income tax purpose, department will assume that it is accrued and it will be treated as if it is accrued in India. Similarly, in case of received in India, actually मुझे पैसा मिल सकता है, और ऐसा वो मानेंगे कि मुझे पैसा मिला है, मतलब they will treat it as if I have received the amount, which is the meaning of deemed to be received in India. So if it is accrued in India, deemed to be accrued in India, received in India, or deemed to be received in India, If you are falling under any of the four categories, you will be that income will be called as an Indian income. But if you are not falling under accrued in India, deemed to be accrued in India, or received in India, or deemed to be received in India, then you will be that income will be considered as foreign income. तो सर व्हाट इज द कॉन्सिक्वेंस ऑफ दिस इंडियन इनकम फॉरेन इनकम? तो उन्होंने बोला है, सी टाइप्स ऑफ इनकम्स, इंडियन इनकम फॉरेन इनकम. नाउ इंडियन इनकम अगर आपका होगा मतलब क्या, अक्रूड इन इंडिया, डीम टू बी अक्रूड इन इंडिया, रिसीव्ड इन इंडिया और डीम टू बी रिसीव्ड इन इंडिया. अगर आपका इंडियन इनकम है तो वो आरओआर होने दो, आरएनओआर होने दो या नॉन रेसिडेंट होने दो, irrespective of the status it will be taxable. क्यों? बिकॉज वो इंडिया से जनरेट हुआ है. तो आरओआर है, आरएनओआर है, एनआर है, डज नॉट मैटर फॉर इंडियन गवर्नमेंट. इंडियन गवर्नमेंट इज सेइंग टू इंडिया का इनकम, इंडिया से इनकम कमा रहा है ना, खेल खत्म, यू विल हैव टू पे टैक्स इन इंडिया बिकॉज इट इज एन इंडियन इनकम. आरएनओआर, आरओआर, एनआर डज नॉट मैटर, इट इज टैक्सेबल. सो इंडियन इनकम के लिए देयर इज नो ब्रेनर. But in the case of foreign income, we will have to bifurcate कि अगर ROR है, foreign income ROR कमा रहा है, तो ROR के लिए it is taxable. Why? Because ROR के लिए वो Indian income होने दो या foreign income होने दो, both the types of incomes for ROR it is taxable. Because for ROR his global income will be taxable. His global income will be taxable. There is no bifurcation. ROR के लिए से हो ही नहीं सकता कि this particular income is not taxable. Foreign income होने दो, Indian income होने दो, taxable. But this is not the case in case of RNOR. Foreign income ROR के लिए हमेशा टैक्स, फॉरेन इनकम RNOR के लिए हमेशा टैक्स नहीं होगा. मतलब फॉर RNOR there are certain incomes which are foreign incomes which are taxable for RNOR, but certain income which are not taxable. So sir, what is this? Foreign income होगा for RNOR. Only two types of foreign incomes are taxable for RNOR. Only two types of foreign incomes are taxable for RNOR. बाकी everything is not taxable. बाकी everything is not taxable. But सिर्फ दो चीजें taxable होंगी, and that income should be your foreign incomes. तो सर ये कौन से foreign incomes हैं जो आरएनओआर को, जिसपे आरएनओआर को टैक्स भरना पड़ेगा? तो फर्स्ट वन इज बिजनेस इज आउटसाइड इंडिया, इट इज अक्रूड आउटसाइड इंडिया, इट इज रिसीव्ड आउटसाइड इंडिया, दैट्स व्हाई इट इज अ फॉरेन इनकम. Accrued outside India, received outside India, that's why it is a foreign income. But such business is controlled from India. But such business is controlled from India. That's why whatever income that business is earning which is outside India, that income, on that income ROR will have to pay tax in India. Is it accruing in India? No. Is it received in India? No. What is the thing which is connected to India? That is control. India से वो business control हो रहा है. Because of that, whatever income that outside India business is earning, that will have to pay tax in India. At RNOR will have to pay tax in India. So business is controlled from India or a profession is set up in India. These two types of foreign incomes will be taxable for RNOR. But any other type of foreign income will not be taxable for RNOR. No other foreign incomes will be taxable. Only these two foreign incomes will be taxable. Perfect. Now ये ROR का हुआ foreign income का. ROR के लिए it is always taxable. RNOR के लिए only two foreign incomes are taxable. Except for that, everything will be not taxable. But for a non-resident, foreign income है, non-resident को मिल रहा है. Is there any connection with India? No. फॉरेन इनकम है, नॉन रेसिडेंट है, तो दे आर सेड कि इट इज नॉट टैक्सेबल फॉर दैट फॉर नॉन रेसिडेंट टू पे टैक्स इन इंडिया. बेसिकली फॉरेन इनकम कमाया नॉन रेसिडेंट ने, इंडिया में एक भी रुपया टैक्स नहीं भरेगा. इवन दो दैट बिजनेस इज सेटअप आउटसाइड इंडिया, accrued outside income is accrued outside India, income is received outside India, and even though that business is controlled from India, if you are a non-resident, you are not required to pay any tax in India. Unlike RNOR. RNOR में क्या हो रहा था, अगर आपका accrual outside India है, received outside India है, but वो business India से control होता है, तो वो जो business है उसका income RNOR को इधर टैक्स लगेगा. he'll have to pay tax in India. But for a non-resident, even though 100% of the control is in India, for that foreign sourced business, it is accrued outside India, received outside India. Even though the control of that business is entirely in India, still for a non-resident, it is not taxable. I hope you're clear with the entire scenario of types of foreign income and taxability of such types of incomes and taxability of such incomes. Indian income, no brainer, always taxable. ROR, RNOR, NR. फॉरेन इनकम ROR है हमेशा टैक्सेबल, देखने का ही नहीं. RNOR है ओनली टू फॉरेन सोर्स्ड इनकम्स आर टैक्सेबल, बाकी एवरीथिंग इज नॉट टैक्सेबल. नॉन रेसिडेंट है, देखो ही मत, एवरीथिंग इज नॉट टैक्सेबल, इवन दो इट इज कंट्रोल फ्रॉम इंडिया, इवन दो इट इज सेटअप इन इंडिया, इवन दो इट इज 100% कंट्रोल इन इंडिया. I hope I'm very clear with the types of incomes and their taxability to various types of residents and non-residents. Perfect. Now, we will come to receipt of income, deemed to be receipt of income, accrual of income, and deemed to be accrued of income. Now, receipt of income. What is the meaning of receipt? Actually, I am receiving the income. That is income received in India. Income received in India matlab kya? Received in the first occasion. If income is received in the first occasion, then only it will be considered as it is received in India. See the first point, receipt. The first occasion, the first time when the recipient gets money under his control. For example, my brother is working in Google US. In Google US, he is earning income from Google US. He is receiving that income in USA. But after receiving the income, that my brother is remitting the money to India. I have received the money in India? Yes. But for income tax purpose, they have said कि first time receive किधर हुआ था? First time receive हुआ था मेरे brother को outside India, that is in the US. उसके बाद he just remitted the money. So mere remittance does not mean I have received that money in India. The first incidence is important. This is your income received in India. Income deemed to be received in India, there are 5 parts. First is employer contribution. To the extent of 12% रहेगा, no tax, no income. But over and about 12% of salary होगा, that is employer's contribution, then you will have to pay tax because that will be considered as Indian income. Employer's contribution to recognized provident fund. Employer's contribution to whom? Recognized, not unrecognized. It is in recognized provident fund in excess of 12%. In excess of 12%. 12% होगा तो no income because it is exempt. 12% of salary होगा तो it is exempt. First is employer's contribution to RPF in excess of 12% of salary. Second, interest credited to what? RPF of the employee in excess of 9.5% per annum. First, employer's contribution 12%. Interest credited to RPF 9.5%. If there is any amount under URPF, that is unrecognized provident fund, and if you are transferring that money to recognized provident fund, then in that case also it is deemed to be received in India. Fourth point, contribution made by central government or other employer under the pension scheme under section 80 CCD to the account of the pay. कंट्रीब्यूशन किसने किया? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और अदर एम्प्लॉयर. किधर किया? जो 80 CCD में स्कीम्स दिया ना, उसमें कंट्रीब्यूशन किया. Then it is deemed to be received in India. And the fifth point is any tax deducted at source. So 5 points: employer's contribution to RPF in excess of 12%, interest credited to RPF in excess of 9.5%, amount credited from URPF to RPF, it is deemed to be received in India. Fourth, contribution made by government, central government or other employer in pension schemes which are mentioned under 80 CCD, and any TDS, any tax deducted at source, will be considered as income deemed to be received in India. So receipt of income in 2 parts we covered. One is income received in India, and second part we covered income deemed to be received in India. Then we will move on to the next point, that is accrual of income. What is the meaning of accrual of income? Accrual matlab kya? Accrue means the right to receive the income. In this, we have seen that what is the difference between accrual and due. Income is accrued matlab kya? Income is due matlab kya? In the month of, for example, the month of February, you are working every day. You're working every day. The salary of February is accruing every day, but it is due on the next month ka first day. Salary is accruing every day, but it is due on the next month का first day. This is the difference between due and accrual. Accrual every day accrue होता है, and due वो accrual का due date होता है. There is one day that is next month का first day. This is the difference between due and accrual. This is the accrual of income. Then we will move on with the main topic, heart of this chapter, that is income deemed to accrue or arise in India, that is given under section 9. Income deemed to accrue or arise in India. My first point is income of a non-resident from a business connection in India. That person has a business connection. I'm talking from non-resident's perspective. Non-resident has a business connection in India. Business connection माने उसका branch office हो सकता है, उसका agent हो सकता है. That means he has a business in India. तो एजेंट ने कौन से कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई करने चाहिए, तो उन्होंने इसमें बोला है दैट एजेंट मस्ट हैव द अथॉरिटी टू कंक्लूड द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. She should have the authority to conclude the contract. Point number 1, he habitually maintains stock of goods. Maintains stock of goods. First, conclude कर सकता है contract. Second, maintains the stock of goods, and where he habitually secures orders in India for non-resident. Where he habitually secures orders in India for non-resident. In that case, he will be considered as an agent. I have given one example here, that Google Inc. is a company in USA. Google Inc. has a branch office in India, and from that branch office, it is earning 10 lakh rupees. Google Inc. is earning 10 lakh rupees from branch office in India. But Google Inc. has another business in UK also, and Google Inc. has another business in Canada also. So Google Inc. का टोटल इनकम कितना है? 10 लाख इंडिया से आया, 40 लाख यूके से आया, कनाडा से 60 लाख से आया. तो हम लोग ने देखा, इफ द नॉन रेसिडेंट हैज अ बिजनेस कनेक्शन इन इंडिया, दैट नॉन रेसिडेंट विल हैव टू पे टैक्स इन इंडिया. तो सर ये टैक्स कौन से अमाउंट पे लगेगा? व्हाट विल बी द इनकम? विल इट बी 10 lakhs plus 40 lakhs plus 60 lakhs? तो आंसर इज नो. India is concerned only about the income which is getting generated from India. So they can charge tax only on 10 lakh rupees, and they cannot charge tax on 40 lakhs and 60 lakhs. Is it accrued in India? No. Is it received in India? No. Is there any connection of 40 and 60 lakhs in India? No. सिर्फ कनेक्शन अपना ब्रांच ऑफिस का है, तो इनकम विच इज एट्रीब्यूटेबल टू सच बिजनेस कनेक्शन, only that much income will be taxable in India, in the hands of what? In the hands of whom? In the hands of Google Inc. Only 10 lakh rupees पे Google Inc. will have to pay tax in India. Perfect. Then we saw some common concept of independent agent. If you are an independent agent, मतलब क्या? Independent agent मतलब there is one agent in India, but that agent is not working exclusively for that non-resident. He's not working exclusively for that non-resident. He secures orders from multiple vendors who are non-residents, which means this is his business to work as an agency. Is he working is he working only for the non-resident? No. Which means he is an independent agent. And if he is an independent agent, if he secures orders for all the other non-resident, not only him, then in that case, that independent agent will not be considered as a business connection, because he is an independent agent. Correct? This is your point number 5.
अभी बिजनेस कनेक्शन के कॉन्सेप्ट में दे एडेड वन मोर पॉइंट ऑफ सिग्निफिकेंट इकोनॉमिक प्रेजेंस. सो इफ अ नॉन रेसिडेंट इज having a significant economic presence in India, then he will be considered as having a business connection in India. And you already know कि अगर एक नॉन रेसिडेंट का सिग्निफिकेंट एक नॉन रेसिडेंट का बिजनेस कनेक्शन इंडिया में होगा तो उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होगा. Now we need to understand कि what is the meaning of significant economic presence, and ये introduce क्यों हुआ वो पहले समझते. ये थोड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है. See, अगर इंडिया को फॉरेन कंपनी से टैक्सेस कलेक्ट करने हैं, देन दैट फॉरेन कंपनी शुड हैव सम प्रेजेंस इन इंडिया. प्रेजेंस मतलब क्या? उसका एजेंट होना चाहिए, या उसका वेयरहाउस होना चाहिए, या उसका ब्रांच ऑफिस होना चाहिए. ऐसा कुछ भी हुआ, देन इंडिया कैन डेफिनेटली से बॉस तू इधर आके धंधा कर रहा है ना, तो मुझे इस पे टैक्सेस चाहिए. ऐसा इंडियन गवर्नमेंट बोल रहा है. बट अभी ये पूरा जो इकोनॉमी है ना, वो इकोनॉमी ट्रांसफॉर्म हुआ है और वो बन गया है डिजिटल इकोनॉमी। और ये डिजिटल इकोनॉमी के वजह से पीपल आर नॉट traveling, people are not coming to India to do the business because everything is possible virtually, every business is possible virtually। तो इसीलिए लोग फॉरेन कंपनी में बैठ के ही पूरा धंधा चला रहे हैं इंडिया में। इंडिया का लॉ क्या बोल रहा है? इंडिया का लॉ बोल रहा है इधर कुछ ना कुछ तो प्रेजेंस होना चाहिए। वो बोल रहा है कि मेरा कुछ प्रेजेंस है ही नहीं, मेरा कुछ प्रेजेंस है ही नहीं, और इसीलिए ना इंडिया में वो लोग अभी टैक्सेस ही पे नहीं कर रहे पर धंधा जरूर कर रहे हैं। Are you understanding this? Because सब कुछ वर्चुअली हो रहा है and there was a huge need of change of income tax law, and that's why they introduced the concept of significant economic presence। उन्होंने एक चीज बोला, even though you do not have any other presence in India but you are having a significant economic presence in India, you will be considered as having a business connection in India। Now the question is, what is the meaning of significant economic presence? ऐसा what are the conditions which you should satisfy to have a significant economic presence? तो उन्होंने ये जो पार्ट है वो दो तरीके से डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया है। हम लोग पहले देखेंगे कि तूने जो इंडिया में गुड्स बेचे और सर्विस दिया, वो सेल ऑफ गुड्स और प्रोविजन ऑफ सर्विस से तुझे इनकम कितना जनरेट हुआ। तो हम लोग ये इनकम के वैल्यू से बात करेंगे। अभी इनकम का अगर इनकम का वैल्यू और ट्रांजैक्शन का वैल्यू इज मोर देन 2 करोड़ रुपीज, देन माना जाएगा कि ये तेरा बिजनेस कनेक्शन इंडिया में है। सी एग्रीगेट ऑफ पेमेंट्स अराइजिंग फ्रॉम सच ट्रांजैक्शन और ट्रांजैक्शंस ड्यूरिंग द फाइनेंशियल ईयर शुड एक्सीड 2 करोड़। कौन से ट्रांजैक्शन? गुड्स, सर्विसेज, property। if you are dealing in these particular goods, services and properties, then in that case अगर तेरा transaction or transactions का value during the financial year is more than 2 crore rupees, then you will be considered as having a significant economic presence in India। ये तो हुआ वैल्यू ऑफ द गुड्स और सर्विसेज। अभी बात करता हूँ यूजर बेस। जो यूजर बेस होता है ना, यूजर बेस, इफ दैट यूजर बेस इज मोर देन 3 लाख, if it is more than 3 lakhs user base, then in that case तो भी हम मानेंगे कि तेरा significant economic presence है। ऊपर वैल्यू का बात किया है और नीचे नंबर का बात किया है, नंबर ऑफ यूजर्स, और ऊपर वैल्यू का बात किया है। दिस वॉज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ सिग्निफिकेंट इकोनॉमिक प्रेजेंस विच गॉट इंट्रोड्यूस्ड in the income tax act, and it was applicable from 1st of April 2022। पहले के recordings में this point was not there because this was not applicable, and this entire part was not introduced only, and that is why I thought of making a separate video for this one। I hope you understood the concept। Let's move ahead with the rest of the topic।
Point number 6 is that only the income which is attributable to that business connection, only that much income will be taxed in India for Google Inc. Perfect. But उन्होंने बोला है that following shall not be treated as business connection in India। उसके लिए I have a mnemonic CD pen। CD pen. What is C? Shooting a cinematograph films in India by non-resident। Non-resident is coming into India and shooting a cinematograph films. In that case, he is not considered as having a business connection in India. But there are certain conditions which are given. The person who is coming into India, if he is an individual, he should not be a citizen of India. If that assessee, that non-resident, is a firm, then in that case, no partner should be the Indian citizen of India or who is a resident of India. Or if that non-resident is a company, then no shareholder is a citizen of India or a resident of India। If these three conditions are satisfied, then only shooting of cinematography films in India by non-resident will not form a business connection। Point number 1. D is what? Display of rough diamonds in special notified zone by foreign company. That is also not considered as having a business connection in India। So C is done, that is cinematograph films. D is rough diamonds। Then pen, P is what? P is business whose all operations are not carried out in India। मतलब only proportionate, P is what? Only proportionate income which is attributable to Indian operations will be considered as income for that non-resident person। This is your P। E is what? Purchase of goods in India for export by non-resident। For export by non-resident. What is he doing? Purchase of goods in India. That's it. Non-resident wants to export that. That's why he is purchasing certain goods from India। That is the only thing which is doing only for the export purpose. If he is doing that, then whatever income he will generate from India, it will not be taxable in India, and there will be no business connection in India. This is your E, and N will be collection of news and views in India for transmission out of India. People are coming, BBC News are coming here, shooting something, and they're transmitting the news outside India. This will not be considered as having a business connection in India. This is your first point on business connection, which is your what? Don't forget, what are we doing? We are doing income deemed to be accrued in India. Ka first point is business connection. Second point, if you have a property or asset और सोर्स ऑफ इनकम इन इंडिया, इन इसका एग्जांपल मैंने एक क्लास में दिया था. देयर आर टू केसेस. इफ यू हैव हाउस प्रॉपर्टी इन इंडिया एंड इफ यू आर गिविंग दैट हाउस प्रॉपर्टी ऑन रेंट, तो यू विल रिसीव द रेंट. Then in that case, if the non-resident having a house property in India, and if that house property is given on rent, and if the non-resident is receiving rent, then whatever rent is receiving, even though he is receiving that rent outside India, still it will be considered as that income is deemed to be accrued in India, because the asset is situated in India. That asset can be your house property, or that asset can be your fixed deposit. Non-resident is coming into India, is going in Kotak Bank, is opening a fixed deposit. फिक्स डिपॉजिट ओपन करने के बाद उसका इंटरेस्ट जनरेट होगा. तो वो जो इंटरेस्ट जनरेट हुआ, इवन दो इट इज रिसीव्ड आउटसाइड इंडिया इन हिज बैंक अकाउंट आउटसाइड इंडिया, बट स्टिल वॉट एवर इनकम ही इज जनरेटिंग फ्रॉम द फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट, दैट इज असेट विच इज लोकेटेड इन इंडिया, in that case, that income will be considered as income deemed to be accrued in India. This is your second point. Third point is capital gain. That non-resident has a property in India, and if that non-resident is selling this property, he will have to consider capital gains. तो जो capital gains arise होंगे, वो जो capital gains होंगे, that will be deemed to be accrued in India. Why? Because the capital asset, that is the building or house property, is situated in India. I hope everybody is clear with all the three points of your income deemed to be accrued in India. Next point is salary income. Salary income, usually what happens is it is deemed to accrue at a place where the services are rendered. जिधर service render होता है उधर सिर्फ salary income accrue होता है. But in case of government of India, if the government of India is giving the salary to whom? To Indian citizen outside India. There is one Indian citizen and who is going abroad to work on behalf of government of India. So government of India will give salary to such Indian citizen who has gone outside India. Yes. But अगर उन्होंने salary दिया तो it will be taxable. But अगर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने परक्विजिट्स दिए और अलाउंसेस दिए तो इट विल बी टोटली एंड टोटली एग्जम्प्ट अंडर टैक्स. उन्होंने और एक नीचे एग्जांपल दिया था, अगर पेंशन का पेमेंट किया, पेंशन पेंशन कभी मिलता है आफ्टर रिटायरमेंट, पेंशन का पेमेंट किया गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने आउटसाइड इंडिया, टू हुम? टू इट्स ऑफिशियल्स एंड जजेस हु आर एक्चुअली परमानेंटली रिसाइडिंग आउटसाइड इंडिया. परमानेंटली रिसाइडिंग आउटसाइड इंडिया, तो इनको हम टैक्सेबल नहीं करेंगे, इसको हम डीम्ड टू अक्रू इन इंडिया नहीं मानेंगे, इसलिए इस पे टैक्स नहीं होगा. पेंशन का पेमेंट किया बाय द गवर्नमेंट टू ऑफिशियल्स और जजेस हु आर परमानेंटली रिसाइडिंग आउटसाइड इंडिया. सो मोटा मोटी गवर्नमेंट ने अगर इंडियन सिटीजन आउटसाइड इंडिया को सैलरी पेमेंट किया, इट इज टैक्सेबल. अलाउंसेस परक्विजिट्स पेबल किया, इट इज एग्जेम्प्ट. और अगर पेंशन का पेमेंट किया टू ऑफिशियल्स एंड जजेस हु आर permanently residing outside India, then it is case they are it is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. Perfect. The last thoda complex part, that is interest, royalty and FTS. It is deemed to accrue in India in the following cases and taxable to everyone. For that, I have one diagram. So in this, basically what is happening, in this, the government of India is paying interest, royalty and fees for technical services to a non-resident. Basically, interest government pay कर रहा है, मतलब क्या? Interest government pay कर रहा है, मतलब government must have taken the loan from non-resident. That's why government is paying interest. Yes. So the non-resident has provided the loan or your know-how, that is technology or technical service. Non-resident ने गवर्नमेंट को प्रोवाइड किया, इसीलिए गवर्नमेंट इज पेइंग इंटरेस्ट ऑन दैट लोन, रॉयल्टी फॉर दैट नो हाउ एंड फीस फॉर टेक्निकल सर्विसेज. तो गवर्नमेंट अगर पे करता होगा नॉन रेसिडेंट को, तो प्लीज रिमेंबर इट इज ऑलवेज एंड ऑलवेज टैक्सेबल. इट इज ऑलवेज एंड ऑलवेज टैक्सेबल. Second point, this is your first point. Second point, resident is making a payment to non-resident, what interest, royalty, and FTS. We'll understand this with the help of this example. There is one resident here and there is one non-resident here. Non-resident is providing what loan दे रहा है, know-how दे रहा है और technical service दे रहा है to a resident person. Now, can I say for taking the services of know-how or technical service or taking a loan, resident will have to pay certain amount of money to non-resident. Okay, what is that? Loan के against interest होगा, know-how के against royalty होगा, and technical service के against fees for technical service होगा. So can I say these three types of incomes which will be taxable in the hands of non-resident, which are incomes in the hands of non-residents? Answer is yes. So whether that interest, royalty and FTS for this non-resident taxable है या नहीं है, ये किस पे dependent होगा? Utilization which is done by the non-resident. Utilization of loan, know-how and technical service, ये resident कैसे utilize कर रहा है इस पे dependent होगा. The loan, know-how and technical services which are provided by non-resident to resident, if he has utilized it in India, अगर वो इंडिया में यूटिलाइज कर रहा है तो इंटरेस्ट है, रॉयल्टी है या एफटीएस है, वो ये नॉन रेसिडेंट के लिए टैक्सेबल होगा. Basically, income of a non-resident, whether it will be taxable or not, it will be dependent upon the utilization done by the resident. यूटिलाइजेशन डन बाय द रेसिडेंट. अगर वो रेसिडेंट बंदा इंडिया में ही यूज कर रहा है तो वो जो नॉन रेसिडेंट को इंटरेस्ट, रॉयल्टी, एफटीएस मिल रहा है, दैट विल बी एंटायरली टैक्सेबल. बट जो लोन, नो हाउ एंड टेक्निकल सर्विस मिल रहा है रेसिडेंट को, and if that resident is utilizing that loan, know-how and technical service outside India for business and profession, outside India, तो government is saying इधर का कुछ भी संबंध नहीं है. That's why for that non-resident, जो resident payment करेगा interest का, royalty and FTS का, it will not be taxable. For whom? For this non-resident. Because the resident is utilizing that loan, know-how and technical service outside India for business purpose. But अगर वही resident बंदा utilize कर रहा है वो loan, know-how and technical service outside India but not for business and profession but for other purpose, then in that case interest का जो payment होगा, royalty का payment होगा और FTS का payment होगा, and that payment will be the income for non-resident. For non-resident, will it be taxable? Answer is yes, because resident is utilizing that money outside India but for other than business and profession purpose. That's why it will be taxable. मोटा मोटी अगर रेसिडेंट यूटिलाइज कर रहा है इंडिया में तो इंडिया है आ गया बीच में, इंडिया बीच में आया तो नॉन रेसिडेंट को जो इंटरेस्ट, रॉयल्टी एंड एफटीएस मिलेगा वो टैक्सेबल होगा. बट अगर इंडिया बीच में नहीं आ रहा है, मतलब रेसिडेंट यूटिलाइज कर रहा है आउटसाइड इंडिया फॉर बिजनेस एंड प्रोफेशन, देन इन दैट केस इंटरेस्ट, रॉयल्टी, एफटीएस टैक्सेबल नहीं होगा. रेसिडेंट यूटिलाइज कर रहा है आउटसाइड इंडिया नॉट फॉर बिजनेस एंड प्रोफेशन, तो फॉर दिस नॉन रेसिडेंट इंटरेस्ट, रॉयल्टी, एफटीएस टैक्सेबल होगा. ये था आपका पॉइंट नंबर 2. अभी पॉइंट नंबर 3 का बात करता हूँ. नॉन रेसिडेंट टू नॉन रेसिडेंट पेमेंट होगा. Non-resident to non-resident में क्या हो रहा है? इधर there is one non-resident 1 and here non-resident 2. Non-resident 2 is giving loan or know-how or technical service to non-resident 1. Now he will pay some amount to non-resident 2. So it can be interest, it can be know-how, or it can be fees for technical service. Okay, know-how नहीं, I can say royalty और fees for technical service. तो ये टैक्सेबल होगा कि नहीं, ये किस पे डिपेंड करेगा? दिस इज द इनकम ऑफ नॉन रेसिडेंट 2. विल इट बी टैक्सेबल इन द हैंड्स ऑफ नॉन रेसिडेंट 2? इट विल बी डिपेंडेंट अपॉन द यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ लोन, नो-हाउ एंड टेक्निकल सर्विस बाय नॉन रेसिडेंट 1. If that non-resident 1 is utilizing such a loan, know-how and technical service in India for business and profession, तो मोदी जी बोल रहे इंडिया का संबंध आ गया तो नॉन रेसिडेंट 2 को इंडिया में टैक्स भरना पड़ेगा. बट अगर नॉन रेसिडेंट 1 वो जो लोन, नो हाउ, टेक्निकल सर्विस है इंडिया में तो यूज कर रहा है बट नॉट फॉर बिजनेस एंड प्रोफेशन, तो मोदी जी बोल रहे ठीक है तो बिजनेस करता रहेगा तो ही पैसा लूंगा, और तो बिजनेस नहीं कर रहा है ना, देन इट इज नॉट टैक्सेबल. In the third case, नॉन रेसिडेंट टू अगर नॉन रेसिडेंट वन को कौन सा लोन दे रहा है, नो हाउ दे रहा है, टेक्निकल सर्विस दे रहा है, एंड इफ द नॉन रेसिडेंट वन इज यूटिलाइजिंग दैट लोन, नो हाउ, टेक्निकल सर्विस आउटसाइड इंडिया, तो इंडियन गवर्नमेंट को क्यों फर्क पड़ेगा? Then in that case, whatever income that non-resident 2 is earning will not be taxable in India. Utilized in India for business purpose hai, so it will be taxable for NR2. If it is used in India for other purpose, it is not taxable. If it is used outside India hai, then in that case it is not taxable. And this was your point number 3. This was your point number 3. And this is the summary of your entire thing. And there is one more thing, that is dividend paid by Indian company to its shareholders. Dividend paid by Indian company to its shareholders will be taxable in the hands of shareholders. Earlier, it was exempt under Section 1034, but now it is fully taxable in the hands of shareholders. And this is how we have completed the revision of our entire chapter, that is chapter number 2, residential status and scope of total income. I hope you have understood each and everything which we discussed. Yes, all the very best. Thank you.